There's nothing more powerful than a changed mind. You can change jobs, change relationships, change your looks. The calendar can change. We can go into a new year. But if your thinking is the same, nothing will be different. Why don't you change your mind? Break out of those ruts that have held you back. Have a new perspective. God is putting an end to what's restricted you. No more wandering. No more seeing the promised land and not experiencing it. You're about to go into your promised land. It's going to be better than you've imagined. You're going to see houses that you didn't build, vineyards that you didn't plant. Promises that you've given up on are still going to come to pass. Dreams that seem impossible are still going to happen.
Listen to me, man. You have a great life in front of you. But your great life is in front of you. It's not behind you. What you did back there ain't got nothing to do with what God got for you. What you did back there was learn the lessons to get you to where you are at this particular moment right here. But what God got for you, do you know, man, that you can actually mess your life completely up? You can jack it all the way up and you can turn around and get it right. Do you understand that? Do you understand that you could have had a baby out of wedlock and still be all right? Do you know that you can be divorced multiple times and still be okay? Do you understand that you cannot have a degree and still be just fine? You can jack your life all the way up. God is in the forgiving business. You can make all the mistakes you want to make or think you shouldn't make. God is in the get it together business. If you got dreams and visions, I got news for you. God is in the make your dream come true business. He did it for me. How he won't do it for you? A lot of y'all better than me. I'm just gonna flat out tell you. Most of y'all ain't done what I had to do to get to where I am today. You just ain't had to do this type of dirt. You ain't been homeless, so you ain't got scrapped like me. Most of y'all didn't come. You're not old as me. I've overcome it all because I have a relationship with him. And you can listen to me and tell that I'm not a perfect person. I am not a perfect Christian. I have my flaws. I am a flawed human being. But guess what? You are too. You ain't got it all together. I dare you to say you do. I make a lot of money, man. But guess what? I ain't got it all together. I'm hurting. I'm hurting, man. Everybody tripping through something. Everybody, I don't care who you are. You're going through something. But if you got God, you can make it.
We all have things that come against us in life. People that aren't fair, a sickness that won't seem to go away, or a setback in our finances. Sometimes it was no fault of our own. We were born into difficulties. Parents that weren't around, depression and addictions that keep getting passed down. We wonder, why am I having this opposition? Why was I raised in an unhealthy childhood? Why did this company let me go after all these years? It's because there's something in you that the enemy's trying to stop. Those bad breaks were not random. You weren't just unlucky. Those were strategic attacks. If the enemy wasn't threatened by you, he wouldn't be trying to hold you back. If he couldn't see greatness in you, he wouldn't waste his time bringing those challenges. When you gave your life to Christ, God marked you. He said, "You're mine." He put that crown of favor on your head. And that's great, but the challenge is you became a target to the enemy. He knows you're destined to take new ground. He knows God has favored you to leave your mark. So he's going to work overtime to try to stop you. Many times the enemy knows who we are even before we realize who we are. You may not be able to see it yet, but even the enemy can see there's greatness in you. Have a new perspective. Those difficulties are a sign something amazing is in your future.
What are the things that you fear that's been keeping you from living your dream? That's been keeping you from doing some things that you would like to do? Just think about those things. And how do we begin to handle that? Abraham Maslow said that the life is about growth. And he said, you can either go back to your comfort zone and there you won't find any growth. Or you must be willing to go forward and face your fears again and again and again.
On all of your coworkers and everybody that is with you, whether they're making more money than you or less money than you. Everyone around you can contribute to you climbing faster up the success ladder.
And there's no worse feeling than to spend your life doing something that you hate. I read a sign in the gym where I go to work out, and I actually wrote it down. I thought it was really a great statement. It said, "Nothing is so useless as doing excellently what should not be done at all." Isn't that good?
My spouse didn't tell me he loved me today. This neighbor doesn't invite me over like she used to. My coworkers didn't congratulate me on my big presentation. You don't know what's going on in their lives. Don't take it personally. Here's the key. Your happiness is not someone else's responsibility.
When I start to get God's word in my heart, no matter what is going on around me, no matter what the circumstance looks like, no matter how challenging this world is, I can walk with a peace of mind, because peace is not about what's happening around me. Peace starts with what's happening inside of me.
I need answers. They're still praying in the face of a prayer that God just didn't answer. The miscarriage, the addiction that they went back to, the relapse, the end of the relationship.
There's the malevolence and ignorance that characterizes social institutions. You're always a victim of the evil tyrant. And the reason for that is that human beings have a lengthy period of intense socialization. And that fosters and develops your individuality in some ways, but crushes and maims and distorts and destroys it in all sorts of other ways.
That's when I had to say to myself, Les, what you're going through right now, you will get through. See, this is a time that you have to have an affirmative, convicted conversation with yourself.
You know, if you're thinking about, like, I'm going to embarrass myself, or what if this happens, or what if that happens, or what if I have to go to the bathroom, or what if my face turns red, or what if this, or what if that, or what if I see that person, that's more dread, that's more fear, and that's more in the lane of anxiety.
Those two absolutely essential qualities are tenacity and resilience. You look at every successful person in life, they have these two qualities. Doesn't matter if they're in law or in sports or in business or in ministry, they have tenacity and they have resilience.
If I could just literally come off the stage and I could get real close to you and we could have kind of like a one-on-one conversation. There are two questions that I would ask you, and the two questions I'm about to ask you will really determine how successful you're going to be in this business. Without any question, these are the two questions. It's not like there's 3 or there's 4 or there's 7. There's 2. The first question is very simple. What are you doing to develop yourself? The second question, what are you doing to develop others?
If you go to God and you've been doing the things you're supposed to do, then He lay you out with it. That's just common sense to me. So what I'm talking to you about is just applying some of these principles that my mama taught me as a Sunday school teacher that then got me to learn a little bit about how to go from the bottom close to the top and how to get from the back somewhere close to the front. I ain't the best stand-up in the world. I ain't the best radio person in the world, but I'm up there.
The kingdom of God is not about attention or recognition. Some of the things that God uses you to do, you will be invisible while you're doing them. Some of you, the greatest thing that you are going to do in your life is encourage someone else, but we don't know this anymore because we don't know the difference between greatness and fame.
If you're positive, you see the best, you're kind to people, you have a smile, because you're nose high, you're going to continue to rise higher. You're going to see God's blessings and favor. But if you're sour, hard to get along with, you don't want to go to work, bitter over disappointments, because you have a nose down attitude, your life is going to go that direction.
Be happy in your faith and rejoice and be glad-hearted continually. Be unceasing in prayer, praying perseveringly, and thank God in everything. No matter what the circumstances may be thankful and give thanks, for this is the will of God You know, I believe that God showed me a long time ago that there's so many people that are wanting to know, well, what's God's will for my life? What's God's will for my life? But if we just start with the things that we do know, then that kind of opens the door for God to reveal the rest of it to us.
I stepped in, I took ownership, they thanked me, problem solved, got it squared away. People are surprised. People are surprised that it works. People are surprised that it works. And again, just to make sure everybody knows, that alone doesn't work. You still have to solve the problem that you caused with the client, right? You gave them what they needed late, or it's going to be late, and now you say, hey, it's my fault.
I'm real as I can be. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry. I didn't think I was wrong. I'll tell you if I'm wrong. But I'm going to be as honest about this whole thing as I possibly can. And I think we owe each other that. And I think the idea that we don't, and that we shouldn't think that deeply, or we shouldn't uncover problems and issues, and we should just go about our lives, I don't think that makes sense.
All these habits I teach. So you say, I'm going to stretch in the morning when I get up, and you do it. All of a sudden, I'm not going to check my phone for 30 minutes. When you just begin to do the things you tell yourself you're going to do, you begin to build self-confidence, which is this reputation with yourself. So ask yourself a question right now. What is one thing right now, one promise I can make to myself that I'm going to begin to keep starting this minute?
I'm not just playing around. I'm not just beating the air. I'm not shadow boxing. I'm not just goofing off. Life is too important to waste your life. He says, when I fight to win. I want to win in my marriage. I want to win in my finances. I want to win in my career. I want to win in my spiritual growth. I want to win in my character. I don't fight to place. I fight to win.
There's great power in self-reliance. Self-reliance means you simply look mostly to yourself. It would be nice if someone just gave you this, gave you this, gave you this. It would be nice if everyone did their job exactly as they're supposed to do it. But here's what you've got to do. Primarily rely on yourself.
One of the most important things when you're in a situation where the truth, the facts are that there is more on your plate than one human being can effectively handle on his or her own, there's a really important moment where you have to surrender to the chaos that your life is for the next couple weeks.
The reason I'm so passionate about personal growth is personal growth keeps me prepared. In other words, if I'm continually growing, I continue developing myself, and I'm continually learning, and I'm continually doing new things and going to another step higher. Can I tell you what that is? That constant growth is the preparation for the opportunity. So when the opportunity comes, here's the way. You don't go into an opportunity, you grow.
But when haters come, they're a good thing too. They validate you. Haters now prove that you're doing something. You are now validated. If you have no haters, it's because you ain't doing nothing. That's what I learned. If you ain't trying to change and be better, it ain't nothing for them to talk about. Because if you're going to stay the same, then they cool with you because you right there with them. Haters validate you, and they going to come at an angle you ain't ready for.
You want favor? It's right in front of you. It's right in front of you. It is right in front of you. It is not out there somewhere. It is not to be found in any earthly promotion. It is not to be found in any earthly acclaim. It is in the wilderness. It is in the synagogue. It is in Nazareth. But the place where he was brought up was the place where they were so familiar with him.
Be constantly renewed in the spirit of your mind, putting on a fresh mental and spiritual attitude. Every day, we need to put on a fresh new attitude. You know why? Yesterday's attitude will get old. If you don't start afresh and anew, then you'll bring all the negative from yesterday into today.
Boy, I'd get upset and maybe something was going bad and I'd get upset and I'd want Dave to feel sorry for me. And I remember him looking at me and saying, I am not going to feel sorry for you. That is not what you need. But you know what? He was right. Because as long as we keep getting somebody to encourage us in our pitifulness, then we're never going to get strong and come out of it and say, no matter what has happened to me, I can overcome it.
I don't really want to work out. I work out. I really don't want to hammer on a project. I hammer on the project. Don't really want to get up and get out of bed. I get up and get out of bed. Now, these could be signals that you need some time off. And those signals might be right. But don't take today off.
That's just me and my personality. That is one of the things that motivated me to explore difficult tasks, because through difficult tasks you learn an incredible amount about yourself, and you through the fire of competition you get to understand motivation, you get to understand the resistance that you have inside your mind to doing hard work. You get to understand the rewards of discipline.
If you're a good person, this is so important people understand this, because it took me a long time. A good person in any endeavor will only take from it what they think they deserve, what they think they're worth. In other words, if there was a pizza here, you're a good person. You don't take all 12 pieces. What is that a good person will not take more from the table of life than they think they're worth or they think they deserve.
It's the weak people who are arrogant. It's the weak people who are prideful. It's the weak people who are pushy and rude and mean and gossip. Those are weak people. He said the truly strong people in life are the gentle, and the world will be theirs. And we've kept that religiously. We've kept that faithfully over the years, and it has kept me from burning out under enormous pressure.
When he talked about poor thinking habits, he had me. I used to start the day reading the morning newspaper. I mean, you can believe that or not. I'd get a cup of coffee and read the paper. I'd load up on wars and riots and murders and stabbings and killings and bank robberies and muggings and car wrecks and tragedies. I'd even read the back pages. I seem to like that stuff for some weird reason. I'd load up on all that, and then I'd start the day. You can imagine the kind of days I used to have. You walk around on your financial knees. They call you economic peewee.
There will be times that you start to lay bricks in this direction and you realize, whoa, wait a minute, I'm going over here and my dream is over there. I guess I better lay bricks over here and head back in the direction. Then you're going to go this way. That's great, because everything that you learned over here is going to be exactly what you needed in order to be doing what your big dream is.
So when they ask me, are leaders born? I know what they're not really asking, are they born? What they're really asking is, are there some people when they're born, they got it? And some people when they're born, they don't got it. And if you got it, you go to the front of the line. If you don't got it, you go to the back of the line. That's what they're asking. And I've got great news for you. And I do believe, I have no question about it, that there are some people that are born with what I call leadership leanings. No doubt about that. Just like some people are born with kind of a musical leaning.
You should have a life where you're comfortable. To me, you should. I don't know. Maybe you have a scripture to justify or can explain why you ain't got a comfortable life. But nowhere in there where it says you got to be poor, downtrodden, woe down, sick, tired, distraught, beat up, jagged, ragged, have the least and the less. I have not, if it's in there, I have not located it. I like looking at the upside.
I think everybody wants to feel special and unique, right? Okay? Everybody wants a participation trophy every now and then. Everybody wants to feel every once in a while like I matter to those who matter to me. And the feeling that you don't can make you crazy. The feeling that nobody would even notice if I was gone. The feeling that everybody else has something that I don't have. I'm really faking confidence to cover insecurity.
Dress in the wardrobe God picked out for you. Kindness, compassion, and humility. As parents, sometimes we pick out clothes for our children to wear. Our Heavenly Father has picked out something for us all to wear. Kindness, being good to people, being pleasant to be around.
But I have learned over the years, and I'm still learning, because many years ago, God gave me a real healthy, reverential fear of complaining. So let me just say that I believe that complaining is sin. Well, why would it be sin? I'm just expressing how I feel. we don't really expect God to answer our complaints. Now, this is something that God spoke to me many years ago, and I'd like to share it with you.
It's kind of hypocritical, because it's like, in one hand, it's like, no, I don't care about myself. I'm not trying to improve. I'm not trying to improve my station in life. But by doing that, you will improve your station in life, and you will improve your station in life beyond anything that you could have done if your goal was to improve your station in life.
And these little victories that you get, the good thing about when people tap, you get I get a little nice feeling right here.
Yeah.
I get
And then they're like,
right.
let's go again.
And they're like, back to being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And there's no getting around. And then he taps you, and you're like, I should have quit while I was ahead. No, because you're missing the point. The point is that it's a long path, a long, arduous path. And I think anything that's worth doing is probably like that.
You're going to get up a little bit earlier. You're going to make a certain amount of phone calls you miss, a certain amount of appointments. You're going to eat a certain amount of calories in your fitness. You're going to spend a certain amount of time with your children or your parents. And you begin to do these things you say you're going to do. You say simple things like, I'm going to lay out my clothes the night before I go to bed every night, before I go to sleep, so when I wake up, that decision's made for me. And believe it or not, the fact that you just do something that simple begins to build confidence.
Or 6 months after somebody gets laid off work, there's another problem. There's a physical health problem, things like this. Because you've shaken up the can and you've got all these emotions feeling inside of shame and regret and fear and insecurity and all the things that come with failure, and you're not dealing with them. And so you shake it up and you say, we're just going to put this in the refrigerator and try to forget about it, and we're going to freeze it, and it's going to explode and it's going to come out sideways.
You'll go to seminars until you get a handle on it. You'll listen to it until it makes sense. You'll go for it until you understand it. You'll practice it until you develop the skill. Never give up until, however long that is, step by step, piece by piece, book by book, word by word, apple by apple. Walk around the block, walk around the block. Go for it. Don't miss the chance to grow, and resolve that you'll pay the price.
So you've got to model that. That means you got to ask for support. That means you got to have direct conversations. That means you got to support your team members too. And do you realize that when you work with other people that do this, team members are 35 times more likely to show visible commitment to your success. And they're 47% more likely, when you model it, to work hard to build and maintain your trust.
Chẳng được quên khi cơn mưa đêm lại về. Em đã quên lời thề và ta như đông chìm sâu. Không cần mơ em anh nhận màu. Em chỉ cần mơ đâu em bay. Chỉ còn là những cơn mưa vô giá. Cho bên mơ em không mơ anh. Anh vẫn đang mơ. Chỉ cần bên em không được còn nhớ. Và chỉ có em không còn nhớ. Và người ta bên nhau như ngã tớ. Muốn nhớ về say em chỉ có mấy em ở đây. Và anh như muốn chết đi nhưng không muốn em mơ mày. Tình yêu làm cho ta đau đầu. Không em như làm ngân màu. Anh như nếu mong cầu. Và mưa bên em ngô sầu. Chắc có mà mai em mơ. Chỉ có bên em nhưng là khó mơ. Mà đang dài em muốn bên ai. Anh không mong gì hơn. Chỉ mong em sẽ ở đây ôm anh thật gần. Anh chỉ mong đôi ta được có nhau. Mà đừng em đâu anh có em. Mà đừng bên anh có em. Ta sẽ trao nhau môi hôn thật sâu. Ôm anh cứ mưa bằng ngâu. Và em chỉ nằm đâu. Anh không muốn em ở đâu đâu. Một cơn gió thứ anh không mơ cầu. Mà gặp đôi anh mà bên nhà. Anh chỉ là my friend nhà. Em quên đi bao lời hứa. Quên đi cần ngày xưa. Anh như là muốn nước. Em không còn chưa. Mà đưa đêm ở đêm. Anh nhìn một đôi đi bằng kem. Không như là ba trên đêm. Cho em nhiều hơn như là kem. Chỉ cần là mưa thôi. Em chỉ cần là mưa thôi. Còn ai sẽ là nắng rồi. Em chỉ cần là mưa thôi. Cho anh ngồi êm trôi. Cho anh được ôm em khi trời nắng. Và ôm em khi trời mưa. Và có anh có mặt trời. Em như là cuộc đời. Có có được nhau để gặp thời, không cần mưa để mặn lời, anh muốn em mau về đây để cơn mưa ngừng trôi, anh muốn em là cuộc đời anh trong mưa mời, bao con bao nhiêu sự trên đời, anh chỉ mong muốn có em bên người, muốn muốn mà mai, chỉ cần mà sai, em nên làm con tim buốt sầu, đừng làm con tim để âu đầu, yêu em chẳng em mà mong cầu, chỉ muốn có em ở trong đầu, anh không.
to my party, we're just getting started. A life is a dream or a nightmare scarring. Hand me a drink cause I think I'm going all in. Get me a shrink who can catch me when I'm falling. Cover up my scars, flip the handlebars, crashing in my car, wake up in a bar. I'll be a superstar, just on my avatar. This world is so bizarre, empty out the reservoir. Yeah, I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this place. Don't know how to stop when I'm feeling this way. So I'm taking 6 shots till I'm feeling okay. I think I'm going crazy, don't think I'll get on safe. So I'm taking 6 shots, all straight to the face. I'm taking 6 shots, are you coming with me? I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this place. Don't know how to stop when I'm feeling this way. So I'm taking 6 shots till I'm feeling okay. I think I'm going crazy, don't think I'll get on safe. So I'm taking 6 shots, all straight to the face. I'm taking 6 shots, are you coming with me? Sometimes you need to let loose, grab juice, get goose, tattoos, taboos, get screwed. Loosen up, buttercup, all those hate comments will never make you feel enough. graduates, heart full of calluses, but we know calculus. Damn, ain't that fabulous? Can't wait to apply all those mathematicus. But we can't get a job that pays us enough. I'm about to